Hey everyone, this is Nickesha with Sensual Synergy. Just wanted to chat with you a bit. Nice and bright in this room right now, but anyway, um, make sure my teeth clean. Anyway, wanted to chat with you guys about some thoughts I had on relationships. Y'all humor me for a minute, please. Thank you. Um, I was just sitting here thinking about, for whatever reason, Love and Hip Hop, a show I don't watch, and Scandal, a show I don't watch, but I hear quite a lot about, and the themes of those, the main things that I hear about those two shows is the blaring infidelity, and it's always funny how shows like these create so much controversy, and they're so, you know, have such high ratings and things of that nature. Yet they're so controversial. And oh my God, who does this? No one does these things. No women would know that a man is with another woman and continue to be with him over and over again, despite the fact that he can't keep his promise of fidelity. Oh no, a politician having an affair with a single woman? Oh no, we don't do those things. This is controversial. This is made for TV. Yeah, whatever. Like I said, I think it's absolutely ridiculous how, in general, people act like these type of scenarios are something so far-fetched from reality. So what I wanted to talk about was, it made me think about relationships in general. And don't get me wrong, let me give you my little disclaimer. Everything that I'm talking about is based off of my own perception and my own experience. Okay? And that's why I said humor me with this one. I find that the concept of relationships in our society today is largely based off of the monogamous relationship preference, where two people get together and they stay together, quote unquote, to death do they part. But we know that doesn't happen. So the type of relationship preference that we actually have in this society, largely more so than monogamy, is serial monogamy, where we go from one partner to the other, to the next, to the next, to the next. Okay, so serial monogamy is when you're in one monogamous relationship, and then when you end that relationship, you move on to another monogamous relationship. But we know that a lot of times monogamy, or serial monogamy, or monogamous relationships are riddled with quote unquote infidelity, or someone cheating, or someone having a relationship outside of that primary monogamous relationship at that time. Thus, the quote unquote controversy with shows like Love and Hip Hop and Scandal. So again, going back to what I was saying, I'm always amazed at how people are so surprised about these shows, because maybe it's just me, but the reality of serial monogamy and infidelity and people getting together and having other lovers on the side is nothing new. It's nothing shocking for me. I'm 35 years old, and I'm sorry, I'm not shocked when I hear that someone was with someone else when they were supposed to be in a monogamous relationship with someone else. It's not surprising to me. So what you have now in our day and time, in this lovely 2014, this 2000s, is this increase in divorces, even divorces, and then on top of that, even if you get married, and then you have certain groups of people, or women specifically, that are said to have difficulty even finding a someone to marry them. So in saying that, there is a problem, Houston. There's definitely a problem, Houston. And that problem is I think that as a society, as a community, as families, and we're not being realistic about the fairy tales that we pass on in media, in our families and cultures about relationships. I was watching this it was something on YouTube where these couples that had been married got together and they talked about the ups and downs in their relationships. And everyone in this video that were in these relationships that were married were talking about that they did not know. They did not know what to expect when they got into a marriage, and that they were just taken aback by the experience that they had in those relationships. And my question to you is that why are people not educated and equipped with the tools needed to sustain a marriage or a long-term relationship? Why are we not taught these tools? Why are we just thrown out of the bird's nest to just fall to the ground and flap our wings and hope like hell a predator don't swipe our ass up and make us a tasty morsel of love? You see what I'm saying? So my answer to this is that we generally as a society love to sell this concept of a fairy tale relationship, knights in shining armor, and Stepford wives and things of that nature, when the reality is that we live in a society that does not give us the foundation we need to sustain these relationships. And there's two things that I want to talk about specifically that in my marriage I had to come to grips before I got married, because I studied this stuff before I got married, because this is my second marriage. I want to know about this thing called love. And when I went to do my research, I found a lot of scientific findings that love and the feelings that we receive when we fall in love with someone is actually a chemical reaction. And that chemical reaction only lasts for a certain period of time, some months to some years. Okay, you heard me, months to years. I think it said like 6 months to 5 years or something like that. And that after a while, those feelings that bonded you to that particular person, because we mammals, so we bond to another mammal, those chemicals that are created to bond us to another human being, to fall in love with them, to mate with them, to have a family, eventually wanes off. Now, who mama and daddy taught them about that? Okay? And so I would beg to say that a lot of people haven't been taught about love being a chemical reaction, and that eventually those feelings will wane off. And how your honey used to make that cute little burp, now it irritates you and you think it's gross 3 years down the line. Okay? We are not taught about love being a chemical reaction, and how do we sustain relationships after that chemical wanes off. We have and then the second thing I want to talk about is we have not been educated on the reality that we may fall in love with one person, but we may have eyes for someone else. Now, in this society, it's more socially acceptable for men to frolic here and frolic there. It's not very socially acceptable for women to stray while in a relationship. But if a man does, of course, the saying, a man is going to be a man. What do you expect? Etc., etc. But for a woman, no, that's not socially acceptable. So do we teach our children how to deal with that besides the don't do it, it's a sin, it is not right? Like human beings really adhere to rules and regulations. So what you have is that we have situations we don't understand love as a chemical reaction. We don't know how to deal with if we have an attraction towards someone else while we're in our primary relationship, and this person is supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread. These are the things you need to ask yourself. What am I going to do when these love chemicals wear off in my relationship? How am I going to handle a strong attraction to someone else? Okay, because the reality of it is that you can get in a relationship with someone, but they may not have everything that you desire in a mate. They might have the best qualities the top 5, top 7, but not the bottom 3, and you willing to be okay with that, okay? But the reality of it is that they might not have everything. And then when you find yourself attracted to someone else is going to give you that thing that your primary partner or your husband and wife is not going to give you, how do you deal with that? Are we honest with our partners about having those type of feelings? What is our plan of action? These are things you need to think about. This is Nickesha with Sensual Synergy. You can check me out on Facebook at Sensual Synergy. Or if you have any questions, comments, or whatever, you can leave them below. But this is Nickesha with Sensual Synergy. SensualSynergy at gmail.com. Y'all have a good day and think about this. Love chemicals. Attraction to someone else. Think about this. Just think on it. Love you.